The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gam Podcast Network is brought to you by Nick Fantasy. They're coming to customers, pledge $5, get $100 most funds, use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gam Podcast here on the Sports Gam Podcast Network. It is currently Wednesday morning, November 5th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm Rose Sky Show. Once again joined by Lante Smith together to break down all the games for the Wednesday NBA card. Lante, how's it going with you? What's up?
I had the mute button, got me early. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Warriors got there. The Thunder did not, so it's better than nothing. So doing all right.
Well, the Thunder did. I think you mean the Clippers did not, right?
Yeah, Clippers didn't. I'm sorry. Yeah, Clippers didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty embarrassing second half there from the Clippers, who got absolutely buried in the last three quarters, actually. They were up 10, got outscored by 9+ in each of the last three quarters, so not exactly a great showing there. Besides that, I think the main entertaining game yesterday was the Bulls' comeback against the Sixers. They trailed by, I think it was 24, and then Vucevic had the three-pointer in the corner. Giddey with a monster triple-double. Nice job by him. Really rough loss for the Sixers, though. They led by, once again, 24. Maxey had like 20, I think it was 22 in the first half, I think. But Maxey and Embiid kind of fell apart down the stretch. Nobody did anything in actual offensive stretches for the fourth quarter. And you saw the Bulls eventually just wear them down and find enough open shots to win. Giddey, though, was great, and the Bulls found a way to win. Yeah, that's kind of the main game I wanted to mention, was just how the Sixers managed to blow that game, because I think everyone thought that game was in the bag pretty early on, and then everything unraveled and they fell apart. But Chicago, you know what? They're good, at least for now. We'll see how they look when Kobe White comes back, but they're entertaining, they're fun, and you know what? Giddey looks like a really good point guard. So nice job by Chicago. Any takeaways from yesterday?
Pelicans got their first win of the season. It was scary late. They were losing late, but kind of came back and got it done. So outside of that, I think the Hawks performed really well. I thought that they were really, especially early on, to kind of put the Magic in the hole. So, but outside of that, man, I think it's been decent action. I thought it was good action. So yeah.
Yeah, also worth mentioning, the picks for me were not very good. The Magic were terrible, so I'm probably not betting on them anytime soon. I thought that they would at least keep the game competitive, and I just thought with them being fully healthy, with Atlanta missing Trae Young, that eventually they just have enough offensive depth, potentially, to just wear this Atlanta team down. They did not. They were really bad. They got buried the entire game, and Atlanta killed them. So, yeah, Orlando, they won a couple of games in a row against bad teams. Thought maybe that got them back on track, but it did not. They got destroyed. And nice job by Atlanta for winning that game. But, yeah, Orlando's got problems. I'll ask you quickly before we move on to the actual games for Wednesday. Which team are you more concerned about early on, Orlando or the Clippers?
Probably the Clippers, just because of where they play at in the Western Conference. The East is, it's top heavy. So, the Magic will be fine, especially with a lot of the injuries going on with Trae Young, and you got the Cleveland, who we'll talk about in a second, who's getting a little bit healthier, but still banged up. Obviously, the Pacers. It's just a bevy of injuries. So I think that the Magic are in better shape long term. Clippers, they don't have a lot of margin for error, so to speak.
Yeah, I feel like part of it's going to be who's actually in the conference, because, of course, you're going to be competing for seeding and what can, at least you hope, be a solid playoff run. But, yeah, I actually am wondering if Orlando might fire their coach midseason. That's where I'm at.
No way. No.
I don't think they're going to, but I'll put it this way. I think people thought Mosley was a lot better a year or two ago compared to what they're seeing now, because right now he's not cutting it. So I do kind of wonder what the plan is moving forward, because they look completely lost. As for the Clippers, I think part of it, you could argue, is just the team being soft, which I think we've described the Clippers as for the last couple of years. The other part is they do have a lot of older veterans together, and I am kind of wondering if the team might be a bit too old. But I think it's mainly the former. I think that it's the Clippers being soft. I just watched that team play. There's just no urgency watching them. And I feel like we saw the same thing even when it was Kawhi and Paul George in the bubble and they blew the 3-1 lead to Denver. It just feels like there's a sense of entitlement there where the Clippers have so many veteran stars. They feel like they are just going to get handed free wins. And as soon as any team puts up any resistance at all, they just roll over and quit. And I feel like I've noticed this from the Clippers for, 5+ years at this point. I just don't know what the upside is for the Clippers. Orlando, they're still young, and if they piece some things together, maybe even if they do hypothetically fire a coach and they end up bringing somebody else in, maybe they can do some things to win with this core. I know what this Clippers core is. We've seen this Clippers core for the last couple of years, and they haven't even gotten to really any deep playoff runs. The deepest run they had was when Kawhi was injured, and Paul George made the Western Conference Finals. They got smacked by Phoenix because Chris Paul had that crazy Game 6 closeout, and Pat Bev shoved him in the back. But the point is, with Harden and Kawhi, they haven't won anything. And I have to ask you if you think I'm overreacting or underreacting, because watching the Clippers play, it just feels like mentally this team isn't there. And I do question if the Clippers will realize this team's not going anywhere, or if they're just going to hold on and hope for the best, which is clearly not going to work out in the playoffs. So what do you think?
Youth-wise, I think we talked about it yesterday. They just don't have a ton of youth, ton of athleticism, and obviously playing without Kawhi and Bradley Beal means something. But they came out in the first half, especially the first quarter, and played extremely well. Just kind of got wore down by the depth and athleticism. And they don't have a ton of wing depth or athleticism, so I think that's probably the main concern with them. I don't know what they can do to improve the roster. I mean, they're just kind of going to sit where they are, and they typically play up to their competition and play down to others. But I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I think they just are who they are, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I know. I'm being very harsh about them being who they are because I don't think they are very good. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. I see, once again, it is worth mentioning they did play the Thunder and they were on a back-to-back. So I do get the fact that Daniel's bringing it up, that it wasn't exactly a great spot because the Thunder, we know, are lunatics. But at the same point, just watching the Clippers play, they're just not the same. Even last year when they lost in the first round to Denver, they no-showed Game 7. At least in the back half of the regular season, they were really, really good. I don't even see that sense of urgency or that sense of scoring depth on this team. They just look like a very vanilla potential play-in team, to be honest. Like, they don't look very good. And when you're paying a couple of superstars that much money, some under the table, separate story, I don't really know if you're going to end up nuking the team or not. I don't really think the Clippers are headed anywhere. And I know from preseason expectations, they were expected to win 50-plus games. I'm not sure they get there. I wanted to mention it because the Clippers right now, they got killed by Utah in the first game of the season. They almost lost to New Orleans, who I know won their first game yesterday, but still, they almost lost to New Orleans at home. And then they got killed by the Thunder. So I'm not in on the Clippers at all. I forgot to mention they also lost to Miami by 1 in the game before the Thunder game. I'm out on the Clippers. I was never in for a playoff run, but is there a chance this thing goes like very south and they maybe even miss the entire playoffs? Because I actually think that's a possibility.
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely. I mean, it's a tough conference. I mean, we talked about it last year. They had. I mean, it was a fight to get the 10 seed with teams like Golden State, Minnesota. So I think the West has gotten better, especially at the bottom. You talk about teams like the Spurs, who are kind of emerging as well. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for sure.
Yeah, just something I wanted to mention is that people viewed the Clippers going into the season as maybe a team that could hypothetically compete with OKC. I never said that, but when you have 50-plus wins, your expectations are to win multiple rounds. They're not beating OKC. They might not even get to OKC in the playoffs. Like, this team, I don't think is very good. So I wanted to mention it. But either way, before we get into any of the games for Wednesday, a reminder that you could also check out all the different podcasts that we have for the network, including college basketball, because it tips off this week. Make sure to subscribe to the College Experience to catch their daily podcasts and download the SGPN app for free. So once again, check out the college basketball picks for the College Experience to get their free podcast episodes full of college basketball picks. I saw they were streaming last night at around 2 a.m. Hour and 40. They went through the entire card. So if you want some college basketball thoughts, Yeah, Kobe and company aren't messing around for college basketball. I'll ask you, by the way, any thoughts on the top players so far in the draft? Because Peterson looked very good. AJ looked good. Boozer was not good in the first half. He picked it up, though. So overall, the top three guys look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a class for sure. I think it's a lot. I mean, obviously those guys are, potential superstars at this level, but
Arizona's got a guy, too.
Yeah, Kobe Pete's really good. I mean, the class is pretty good, loaded from top to bottom, and even in the second round. So, yeah, I mean, we can definitely we'll get into that probably later on in the season. But yeah, man, not surprised. I mean, these guys are just so skilled, so good. So, not surprised at all at what they've been doing.
Yeah, as of right now, by the way, just out of curiosity, if you had to pick your projected number one pick, not knowing who's going to get the number one pick, who's number one in your prospect power rankings?
AJ, number one.
Okay, and two is Boozer, or two is
AJ, Darren, and Cam are the top.
You have Cam third. I think that's what most people would have. So that's what I was just wondering. That jump shot, though, by Peterson, though, is so smooth. It's a hell of a jump shot.
He's damn good.
But either way, point is, should be fun. Looking forward to watching the college basketball season unfold as well. Anyway, moving on to the games for Wednesday. Starting off with the Sixers, who are in a really weird spot because they blew a 24-point lead on the road. Embiid, we know, back-to-backs he's allergic to, so we'll see what happens here. But the Cavs are laying 10.5. The over-under is at 235.5. Big injury news besides Embiid, probably not playing. Garland might be returning for Cleveland. He's questionable. We'll see. He's not played all season, so we'll see how he looks if he ends up suiting up. Jared Allen, though, he is questionable as well. Max Strus is out, but Mitchell's going to play. Mobley's going to play, and we'll see if Garland and if Allen end up playing. So assuming Embiid's not going to play, not a great spot for Philly. Bunch of guys played a bunch of minutes, and they fell apart in the second half. I'll ask you, Alante, because we saw them no-show the weekend game. Cleveland did, because they sat a couple of key pieces, and we saw Toronto kill them. They ended up bouncing back, beating Atlanta the game after. But I'll ask you, because Philly is in a back-to-back spot with travel with no Embiid. Any thoughts on this game? Because at first glance, I like the over. Because when Embiid doesn't play, I just pick fast-paced games. So I like the over.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I pointed to. If I had to play it the side, I think it may be a tad bit too high. I know Garland's coming back, and they're getting a little bit more healthier, and maybe they can. Because the thing is, Evan Mobley's usage rate is the highest it's ever been. So if you can get him kind of down to where,
do you like how high it is? You want it lower?
Well, I would rather it be. So my thing is, I like it that high, but again, I don't like some of the looks that he's getting or some of the shots that he's taking because he kind of has to because they don't have a ton of, they don't have a ton of guards to create for him. So he's taking tougher shots. And again, he's playing the five because Jared Allen's been missing. So I think you have to find like a fine line between him being aggressive and his usage rate being a little bit higher, but still being efficient. So I think that'll come with all these players like coming back. Lonzo is kind of on this. He's not on a minutes restriction, but he's on a trajectory where they're working him in, so they're saving him for the playoffs. So that's understandable. But yeah, I think Philly might be able to keep this close. I mean, those young guys aren't really fazed by a back-to-back. I mean, Embiid's not playing. We talked about it timelessly after Embiid's obviously not being 100% and on that minutes restriction. They play a lot better with him off the floor. I mean, you could just look at the on-off numbers, and that tells the whole story. So I like the over with you. If I had to play it, I would play Philly, though, on the side. Plus 10.
Yeah, I see Bear mentioned in the over didn't get there last night. Yeah, I'm aware. There were like 70-plus points in the first quarter. Philly didn't make a shot from the floor in the last 6.5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that was rough, man. That was rough.
It was very rough.
That was rough.
And look, I know Embiid is not the guy he used to be. Maxey had a fringe 40-piece. I thought Grimes was horrific. Besides the last shot that he took, I was shocked Grimes got the last shot. I don't know if he scored in the entire second half. I think he might have had 2 points. The offense just completely shut down. And it's not like Chicago is a great defensive team. So I thought Philly's offensive execution in the second half, especially that fourth quarter, was embarrassing. And once again, we had the over, which didn't work out, but I can't even say it was a bad read because you had 70-plus points in the first quarter. It just didn't matter. But, yeah, Philly's offense shut down. I think I'm going to go with Cleveland in this one. I'm hoping Garland and company play, obviously. But the Sixers, the issue is if Embiid's not going to play, I know Embiid doesn't rebound much anymore, and Bona, I think, is a pretty solid athlete. I just think the front court for Cleveland is going to be too much for Philly to handle. And I do think if Cleveland's going to dominate the boards, you still have Mitchell, you still have a couple other solid scorers. Philly's defense, not great. It's why a bunch of their games are very high scoring. And I do think that with the lack of front court depth, assuming Allen plays in this game, isn't the rebounding differential going to be massive if you have to compare these two teams? Because if Cleveland ends up out-rebounding them by like 12 and Mitchell and Garland end up playing, I just think they have too much punch. So I'll go for Cleveland to score like 130 in this game.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, even the pace should be a little bit better as well with Garland because they were using Donovan Mitchell to, be more of a creator. And although that's not his strong suit, he's gotten better at it since coming over from Utah. But I mean, obviously, I think Garland will be on some type of restriction off of that toe surgery, so it will help, the pace for them to kind of get up and down a little bit more. So, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Moving on to, once again, I think our favorite play there is the over. Not knowing who's actually playing. Yep. Moving on to the Jazz as they take on the Pistons. Pistons laying 9.5. The over-unders at 232.5. For the injury report, you are looking at no Tobias Harris, no Jaden Ivey, no Sasser. For Utah, no Walker Kessler, and no George Niang. Saw Kevin Love getting some minutes in that Celtics game. But shout out to Nurkic. Last game they played, I gave out his points as my lock, and he had the putback game winner. So appreciate Nurkic there. Double-double, plus 280. So hopefully he ended up taking that too. But for this game, Detroit was not good early in the season, and they haven't lost since. They're 5-2. As for Utah, they beat Boston on the road, and they are currently 3-4. I'll ask you, though, Pistons laying 9.5. We know at home they've been really good. Utah, their center situation's kind of ugly. I gave out Nurkic solely because the Celtics have no centers, and I thought he'd have to play some serious minutes. Nurkic wasn't very good. He had a double-double. It was not an efficient double-double. But, of course, the rim protection is not nearly as good with Kessler being out. Now you have Duren, who might have a monster game on the boards tonight. Cade looks great. In general, even without Beasley, I think that Duncan's done a pretty good job coming off the bench as a three-point shooter. I'll ask you, though, it's a lot of points. Do you want to lay 9.5 or do you want to take the points?
No, I like the Jazz here, even without Kessler. I think they can match them up physically. The wings, they're deep on the wings in the backcourt. I really think that Utah can kind of exploit that big lineup that the Pistons want to play. So Duren, if they play Duren and Stewart, and without Tobias, I think they're going to have to slide somebody else in, which will probably be Asar. So it's a non-shooter. So you're playing essentially, three guys who are not going to be able to stretch the floor. And then Cade, obviously a good shooter, but he doesn't want to stretch the floor a ton. He want to get in the mid-range. So Utah, I think it's been really good. They can match the physicality, especially up front. They're first in rebounding. Now, a lot of that has to do with Kessler, but they can move Laurie to the 5 and have Duren come out so that'll negate kind of his dominance on the inside. They just got to protect the ball. I mean, they're 30th in turnovers, so that's probably due to Isaiah Collier being out, and they don't have a true, quote-unquote, true point guard. I think that's kind of the sentiment around the league. Like
Once again, a little bit too much Keontae George.
He's been good, though.
He's been good, but the fact is he can be quite reckless with the ball.
Yeah, he's been good, though. But, yeah, I mean, but he's not a point guard. He's a combo guard.
He's looking to shoot every time.
Yeah, so if they can protect the ball and kind of just still wall up and rebound well, I think they'll be fine here. So I think they stay within that number. I like Utah plus 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to point out, by the way, shout out to Big Stu, who had a monster game against Memphis. He had 26 and 14 last game. Shout out to him. But for this game, look, I know Utah did beat Boston. You could argue Boston's not very good. They were playing better recently. Detroit's been good, but the question is, do I think they should be laying 9.5? I think I'm going to agree with you. I think I'm going to take Utah plus the points. I'm probably not going to bet this game, but 9.5 feels like a lot. I think Detroit can win this game without covering. I do think that if you're looking at what could be a spacing question for Detroit, maybe the offense gets stagnant. You might end up seeing Utah hang in there. Thought about the under in this game. So I didn't mind the under, but I think I'll go with Utah plus 9.5 with you. I'm not going to bet this game, but maybe I just haven't really watched enough Pistons basketball where I just don't feel great about laying this number with Detroit. But we know that they are very good in this building, so I'll see what happens. But if you wanted to go for threes with the lack of spacing, Duncan Robinson, I think is probably your option because you might just get a bunch of volume. So I don't mind Utah in general. They played better than I expected to start the season. I'll go for them plus the points in this game. Moving on to the next game, my Nets, who are the only winless team in the league. Indiana won a game. The Pelicans won a game. Nets are still 0-for against Indiana. Indiana's laying 6.5 in Indiana, and the over-under is 231.5. The injury report is not pretty, especially for Indiana. You have no Jackson, you have no Furphy, you have no Jones, no Mathurin, no McConnell, no Nemhard, no Toppin, and of course no Halliburton. For the Nets, you have no Highsmith and no Powell. Does it matter? No. I'm going Indiana. Indiana's actually played some decent basketball recently. They're not a good team, but you know what? They beat Golden State. They still have Siakam. They still have a couple of people that are actually NBA players. As for the Nets, they have a bunch of G League guys disguised NBA players, and that's why they're over. They have not just been losing games. They've been getting curb stomped in basically every game they've played in. Most of their games end in routes, and I do think with the Pacers being at home, one of the games I actually think that they're going to be favored in, which is not a common occurrence for the Pacers this season, but the Nets so far this season have lost 7 games, and 5 of them have been by 11-plus points. Good enough for me. Give me Indiana on the road -6.5. The Nets are, as far as I'm concerned, a G League team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of thoughts in this game, but I will ask you, so why don't the Nets just play their young guys? Like, why do they have Drake in the G League? Why do they have Igor? I think Igor is hurt. So the only rookie that's playing is Saraf, right? So, like, why aren't they playing these guys if they're, like, I don't understand that process.
Yeah, you could argue part of it is auditioning either Cam Thomas or Porter Jr. just to try to get them traded at some point, because I don't see them being, of course, longtime franchise cornerstone pieces. But I don't know. I mean, I guess some of it comes down to if you actually think the player is ready to play in the NBA. I do not think Saraf's an NBA player. I think he's an extreme G League guy right now. He can't really dribble. He can't shoot. Besides that, he's fine. Just kidding. Like, he can't defend. I don't think he's really good at anything at this point in his career. I kind of want to see a bit more Traore. I feel like I have not seen enough of him yet. Wolf should maybe be playing some minutes. I can't stand watching Nick Claxton play basketball.
No, Drake should definitely be playing. I mean, he could defend.
I think he's injured though. So like Powell's a bit different. Yeah, he has an ankle issue. So Powell would be playing if he actually could. But
I just kind of question what they're doing, because I mean, you drafted all those guys, like, play them at least. I mean, I understand what you're saying with Cam and MPJ, but I mean, play those guys. At least see what you have. And
yeah, the argument for Wolf or against him in this case are just the front court guys they have. They have a couple of young guys already who have not been very good, but you still have Sharp, you still have Clowney. Clowney's been a mess. But you have Claxton, you're paying money, who you probably are begging to trade. You have a couple other power forward centers already there. If you put Wolf in the G League, at least he's playing 30 minutes a game. So it might just be like a minutes thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think Wolf should be playing some minutes because, I mean, why not? You got to at least see what you have. But look, the backcourt's a mess. We know this. And Indiana, I'm not saying they're a good team, but I do think Shepherd, Neesmith, Siakam, Jackson, like, they're all actual NBA players. That's good enough for me. I'm taking Indiana. The Nets, if they started the season like 0-15, that would be very on brand. You know, like, I can't take the Nets at any point because every time you look up at the scoreboard, they're down 20. So I can't take the Nets. I'll go with Indiana at home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on it. It would be Indiana or nothing. I do like the under. I mean, both of these teams, I think the Nets are shooting 32% from 3, and the Pacers are shooting 30, or vice versa. They're shooting below 33% from 3. So I like the under. I don't know how these teams score. I mean, Pacers probably do a lot more scoring than the Nets, but yeah, I would look under if anything. Don't really have a ton of like thoughts on the game.
Those are my thoughts on the game. I had to bring that up because, damn, these teams are terrible. Moving on, before we get into the next game on the card, a reminder that we are brought to you by our sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Using to bet on football, basketball, college basketball as well, college football, and check out hockey if you want to. The prop builds are second to none. You can use crypto for funding your account for getting nice payouts, so check out crypto options with MyBookie.ag. And a reminder, when you head to the actual platform, use the code SGPN for 100% bet bonus with $5 for customers. MyBookie.ag promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig, the number prediction market for sports in America. Get some great prices on a Novig, so get some reduced juiced options there available in 30 couple states. Make sure it's available in your state. When you download the app, though, get $50 to spend just $5 if use a promo code SGPN. Get an actual Novig promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finish going through the first couple games for Wednesday. Time to move on into the next game. Moving on to the Wizards, taking on the Celtics. Celtics laying 11.5 for the injury report. Washington's healthy besides Middleton. doesn't matter. This team stinks. For the Celtics, no Tatum, obviously, but besides that, everyone else is playing. So Boston's 3-5, but you know what? They've been kind of competitive. Some games haven't worked out, but at least they have had moments. Lost at home to Utah. Jaylen Brown cursed out the officials. Lost to Houston. I mean, Houston's really good, is what it is. Beat Philly, beat Cleveland, beat the Pelicans. So they had a 3-game winning streak. As for the Wizards, this team is just awful. I thought they might be a little bit better than this. I had their win total under. I thought they would be bad and they'd be tanking. But I do think with the young talent they had, people thought they might look a little bit more competitive. They have not. They are really bad. Now, we just saw Boston blow it outright as a double-digit favorite at home against Utah. You think they do the same thing here, or you think that they end up just beating down on a bad Wizards team?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I was one of those people who thought that the talent level for Washington would result in a little bit more competitiveness. And early on,
I remember. I remember. No, I'm joking.
Early on, they were showing some fight. They would get down a ton, and then they would just kind of fight back and cover the number. But as of late, they haven't been good. And I think it's the result of them taking a ton of threes, and they make a lot of threes. I mean, they take a high dose of threes, but they make percent. I think they're top 12, 13 in 3-point percentage. If you correlate that to where Boston does, Boston takes a ton of threes too. It's just that right now they haven't been hitting them. They're 29th, in the NBA. They're shooting 31.2% from three. So that kind of explains why some of those losses, why some of those wins that they could have had have turned to losses. They just haven't shot the ball well. And they're getting their rotations down. I think the lack of an interior presence is kind of I think that is kind of concerning for Boston, but I don't think it'll show up here. I'm looking for some points. I think both teams will play with pace. Obviously, the Wizards want to get up and down and shoot threes because of their youth. Boston will be effective, and I think they're a lot better than what that 31.2% from three shows. So I'm going over. I would probably go with the Wizards just because, just a high variance team. But thankfully, we don't have to bet this game. So just if I had to, I would bet the 11.5. But I do like the over, though.
Yeah, I'm not interested in, I'd say, putting money on the Wizards either, but I can't lay 11.5 here.
Yeah,
the issue for Boston is they can't rebound, which is well documented. And the fact is, I think Sarr can have a monster game. He looks good so far this season. So I think I'll go with the Wizards plus the points, but it's not a game I'm running to the TV to watch, if you catch my drift. I'm not that interested. But I think the Celtics are a team that, as it's mentioned by Derek, they've had problems covering double digits for years. So I think the Wizards might hang in there, and we'll see what happens. But either way, I'm not exactly thrilled about that game in general. Moving on to the Timberwolves taking on the Knicks in MSG. Knicks starting to play a bit better. You're looking at the Knicks, who are currently undefeated at home. Knicks are laying 4.5, though. 227.5 is the total. For the injury report, Towns is questionable. That's just the case every single game. As for Anthony Edwards, he might return. He's questionable as well. So we'll see if he ends up coming back. He's iffy with the hamstring issue. We'll see what happens in shoot around. He was in practice on Tuesday, which bodes well for his chances. Then again, Minnesota, not very good. So both teams are 4-3. We'll see what happens. But assuming Cat and Ant end up playing in this game, who do you like for this one, Monte?
Yeah, a lot of revenge games here for sure. I would go with the Knicks at home. I do think that Ant plays. I think he's been ramping up. If you've been reading some of the reports, before this game, he's kind of been ramping up. And obviously, Madison Square Garden is probably one of the places that you want to play in or come back and play in. And I would probably go with the Knicks. Maybe wait a little bit if you like the Knicks until he's actually ruled in, and maybe you'll get, maybe like a 3.5, maybe a soft 3, because it opened 5.5. And then as that news kind of trickled in, it's moved down to where we are right now. So if you like the Knicks, I would say hold on a little bit. Wait until that news hits the screen and Anthony Edwards is ruled in. But I like the Knicks, whether he's in or out. Minnesota's been struggling defensively. Obviously, offensively, they've been struggling without him. The lack of point guard, Conley being old, and Rob kind of just trying to find his way. Essentially, this is year one for him because he didn't play a ton last year. So he's kind of learning on the job, and he's not.
Is this even year one if they're passing over him for Bones Highland half the time? Does that count as year one?
Yeah, that's fair as well. That's fair as well. And that's kind of unfair to him because, he's not a point guard. He's kind of a combo guard. He just has the size of a point guard. So, yeah, but I would think that you traded up to get him. I don't understand why you – I don't understand why they don't. Obviously, they said he's not ready, but, he's super talented. He can score the ball. Yeah, I just don't understand it. But the real issue that I have with Minnesota is their defense. I mean, 20th in defensive rating would be okay for certain teams, but they're typically, in the top, 10, 11, sometimes even the top 5, especially come playoff time. So that's something that the Knicks can exploit. So I'm going with the Knicks at home. They get a big win.
Yeah, I'm on the Knicks as well. I don't think Minnesota's that good. I was not sold on them going into the season. I had their win total under.
Yes,
I think it was like 48.5, 49.5. I just didn't see it. I think they're the same team as last year, and they got worse. Alexander Walker left. Their bench is a bunch of relative unknown young guys with Shannon, with Dillingham. I'm shocked Highland's playing as much as he has been so far this season, but I'm just not that interested in the roster. Gobert looks awful, by the way. I don't know if it's been talked about or not, but I have not been a fan of Gobert this season at all.
When doesn't he look awful?
Well, the point is, though, you expect at least the defense is good, and this season he's averaging 1.4 blocks, down from his career average of 2.1. He's averaging around a double-double. He's shooting 72% from the floor because he only dunks the ball, obviously. But just watching him play, I just have not been impressed. A couple of really bad games, a 9-6 game against the Lakers, an 8-5 game against the Nuggets. He's played better recently against the Hornets and the Nets because those teams stink. But I think Gobert's looked pretty bad so far this season. I'll go with the Knicks. I think they're looking better. Not saying they look great, but I do think you're looking at a spot where the Knicks are the better team. Yes, Ant, I know, can have a monster game in MSG. We'll see if he ends up playing, though. Hamstrings are tricky to deal with, especially for a guy like Ant, who's so built on athleticism. So we'll see how he looks, but I like the Knicks in this game. They're playing better. They have a better bench, definitely. We saw Hart of a double-double in the last game off the bench. I like the Knicks in this game. So that's kind of my thoughts for that one. Moving on to the next game, looking at the Rockets taking on the Grizzlies. Houston has been good recently. They're 4-2. They're laying 7.5. The over-under is 232.5. For the injury report here, Ja's there physically, not mentally, but he is there for now. For the injury report, you have no Clark, no Edey, no Jerome, no Pippen. For Houston, I see Jabari Smith's questionable. Adams is questionable. Still no Finney-Smith, and we know Van Vliet is out for the season. Is any part of you even, I'd say, contemplating the idea of putting money on Memphis right now? Because mine is I've completely checked out. There's no chance in hell. You?
Yeah, no, sir. I can't do it. Matchup wise, it's a really good matchup for the Rockets as well. If you look at the weakness of the Grizzlies, they don't have an interior presence. I mean, Jaren Jackson's playing center. I mean, this is technically a Jock Landale revenge game, also a Steven Adams revenge game if you believe in such. But Houston should be able to dominate the boards. I mean, they've been doing so. Credit to Ime, man. He's had these guys like really locked in. They went from one of the more atrocious teams that we saw in the playoffs offensively to being number 1 in 3-point percentage. When they miss, they're rebounding about 50% of their shots, their misses. Like, it's just unstoppable right now on the interior. And a lot of those threes are coming from offensive rebounds, which is essentially like one of the best shots. I mean, one of the best times to take a three is off, in the offensive rebound sets or in transition. So, yeah, I can only look at Houston here. Memphis, 23rd in 3-point percentage offense. Ja's not going to be able to see a ton of lanes.
I'm guarding him. That's not the matchup you want either.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I mean, you can kind of just honestly, I wouldn't even have to waste Amin's energy on him. You kind of just sag off and dare him to shoot threes. If he drives and kicks, I mean, who is he kicking the ball to that's going to make shots? KCP, Jalen Wills have not been knocking down shots. So that's kind of the issue with this team.
Wells especially has not been hitting shots. Wells has been really bad.
Yeah, sophomore slump for him, for sure. But again, I just don't think it's a good matchup for Houston. And obviously with the Grizzlies and all of the stuff that they have going on, I can't bet them right here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do want to ask, what will it take for you to reconsider betting Memphis ever again? Does Ja have to be off the team at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, it's going to take a couple of weeks of data to kind of see how they play. And I mean, he didn't play horrible the last game, but again.
Well, I mean, he had some assists in there, but he still can't shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to change overnight. So,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
Yeah, he wasn't horrible, and he was at least giving, some kind of effort. It just wasn't. Obviously, it was a lot more than what he gave prior in the game prior, but I mean, they're just not good right now. The team is not set up for like Ja's skill set, and if you want to build around Ja, I mean, that's not what. The team is not what you want to. This team right here is not what you want to do. And trading one of your best shooters, I mean, that's an indication that they don't want to build around Ja. So it's gonna take like some double digits and some hardcore data to maybe consider backing Grizzlies from now on. But until they either like figure it out with Ja, move on from him, or whatever the case may be, I won't be on him at all.
Yeah, I see Dimes mentioning he likes the Rockets' first quarter. They're the second best first quarter team in the league. Grizzlies are 27th. I don't mind that angle. They might jump them. But I think Houston's clearly the better team in this game. So there you go. Moving on to the next game. Look at the matchup between the Pelicans and the Mavericks. Where is the drop? Let me rewind for a second. Yeah, I think that's warranted for this game. Pelicans won a game. Congratulations. Break open the champagne. Zion's still injured. He's going to be out for a week or two. What else is new? With a hamstring issue. For the Mavericks, not good. That's all I have to say. Not very good. For the injury report for these two teams, AD is still out. No Kyrie, no Lively, no Exum. You're looking at New Orleans, no DeJounte, marital problems - serious injury. Zion out and Missy's questionable. So, look, Pelicans won a game. Now they're traveling to play in Dallas. Dallas, I think, stinks, but they do have a lot of size, which can give New Orleans problems. I mean, Queen looked pretty good yesterday, though, so at least they have that, but they did give up a future first-round pick that might be a top 5 pick in the draft, so that's not what you want to do. But Queen looks like he could be a decent NBA player. But either way, for this game, Dallas laying 7.5 with a ton of length, no shooting at all. For New Orleans, they were down most of that game to Charlotte and then came back in the fourth quarter and won. Look, I'm not saying New Orleans is good. They're clearly not. But I can't lay 7.5 with Dallas. I just can't do that. I'm laying 3 possessions plus with a bad team. In a toilet bowl, I know Terrell would always blindly take the points. That's kind of where I'm at. New Orleans stinks. I get that. It's a bad spot, but I can't lay 7.5 with Dallas. So I'll go with the Pelicans plus the points. I'll go under. I don't like either offense at all, especially Dallas. They play slow and they can't shoot. Give me the under and give me the Pelicans plus 7.5. But if you think I'm watching this game, you're out of your mind.
I'll be watching it for you because I like the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are going to pulverize them, man. I mean, this is a home run spot.
They really should with the length they have on the interior.
Yeah, this is a home run spot for them. I mean, the Pelicans have, a few jump shooters, but outside of that, they don't have a ton of spacing. And then, like, Derek Queen, undersized. I think Looney's back, if I'm not mistaken, but he's kind of working his way back in. So the length and athleticism that the Mavericks have on the interior should be able to, pay off here. The guard, like Cooper Flag playing guard, shouldn't come back to haunt them here simply because of the size, the lack of size on the wing and the guard spot that the Pelicans have. And if that the Pelicans are really, really bad, but if I told you they have Dallas is the worst offense in the league.
Yes.
Like 30th in points per game, 107.3. Like offensive rating, they're worse than the Pelicans. Like
they've experimented with a rookie forward playing point guard. Like that offense is not fluky bad. They're really bad.
Yeah, they have been horrible. But again, I think this is a spot for them to kind of get right. The Pelicans 30th in assists, which means they play a ton of ISO. And if they're not hitting shots, which I don't think they have been as of late, opposed to their one win record, I think this is a home run spot for Dallas. I'm laying it with them.
I think you're probably right based on spot. It should be a home run spot, but there's no chance I want to lay 7.5 with Dallas. This team can't score.
That's fair. Yeah.
I like the under in the game.
Yeah, I like under. Yeah.
So I'd rather go for that, bet on either one of these two teams to be terrible and to no-show the entire game, or both of them are just playing G League basketball and you end up winning anyway. So I'll go with the under, but well, you're probably right. Based on the matchup on the interior, Dallas has some advantages. But there's no chance watching Dallas play this season I'm laying 7.5 with this team. I just can't do it. So we'll see what happens, but it is a great spot for Dallas, having the size advantage and having New Orleans on a back-to-back after winning their first game of the season. You're right, but I just can't lay 7.5 with this team. Moving on to the next game, you have the Heat taking on the Nuggets. A nice win by Miami by 1 against the Clippers. Very dicey. They survived a Kawhi game-winner attempt, and they ended up winning that game barely by 1. Nuggets, though, laying 9.5 for the over-under 241.5. Injury report for these two teams. No Hero, no Rozier, probably forever. Besides that, you have Denver with Jamal Murray being probable, and that's it. So I'll ask you about Miami because they're 4-3. They have one of the fastest paces in the entire league. Denver's been winning. They gave up a ton of points to the Kings, but they won the game anyway, so it didn't really matter. I actually might like the over in this game, but 9.5 feels like a lot. Miami's got some scoring depth. I think Miami can actually hang in there. Denver's been good, but at the same point, I'm looking at their level of competition, and it has not been that great. I mean, they got the massive collapse against the Warriors where Aaron Gordon scored 50. They lost the game. They beat the Suns. They beat the Timberwolves with no Ant. Beat New Orleans. They lost to Portland on the road. I thought the refs hosed them. I thought Jokic got fouled. They called the jump ball instead.
Yeah,
but still, they lost that game, and they beat Sacramento. So they're 4-2, but their best win is arguably against, Minnesota with no Ant. They haven't played anybody at this point this season. And you could argue in the step-up games against Portland and Golden State, they lost. Look, I think Denver's going to be a really good team this season, and I do think they might be a title contender, a serious title contender. At the same point, though, I can't ignore they have beaten absolutely nobody this entire season. The Clippers might not be a good team, but Miami went into their building and won. Miami's been competitive. 9.5's a lot of points. Denver hasn't beaten anybody worth a damn this season. I'll go with Miami plus 9.5.
Yeah, I like Miami as well. I kind of can see where the number is. I mean, this is their third straight, quality opponent for Miami. All of those on the road, and this is the end of the road trip. So maybe they let go of the rope if they get down late. But I mean, Noah LaRoche comes in ironically from Memphis and changed the Miami's offense like drastically. First in pace, ninth in 3-pointers made, 11th in offensive rating. All of this without Hero. They've been playing without without Powell a few times. So like they're doing this with a cast of characters is exactly what Spo.
That is worth mentioning, by the way. Powell's officially back again. So he played last game. We know Powell's a really good player, so he is back in the line.
Yeah, but he's missed some time. So like they haven't played with their full, roster as of yet, and they're still putting up these numbers. So I like Miami. I think that Bam can't guard. I mean, nobody can guard Joker, but he does he's a good defender, and you don't have to send a double, and you can kind of just, okay, Joker, if you're going to score 50, fine. That's how you're going to have to beat us. And typically we saw that kind of game plan work because he doesn't want to score 50. He wants to distribute, and he wants to get other guys going. And that's kind of the recipe that's been since he's ascended into this MVP type of player. So I like Miami. I think they'll keep it close, although it is their third straight quality game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can keep it close. So I like them within a possession.
Yes, I'm going to go with Miami to hang in there. They might lose the game anyway, but I don't mind Denver 1-10. I am going to point out, by the way, even though Denver has a winning record, it's early. Damn, Cam Johnson has to get it together. He's been really bad. Yeah. I think he will too, but I'm just going to throw it out there. He has not been good this season at all. So that is somebody to keep an eye on moving forward. Anyway, moving on to the next game on the card. We have 3 games left. You have the Spurs taking on the Lakers. Fun matchup. You got Luka against Wemby. For this one, though, the Lakers are currently laying 2.5 at home, and the over-under is 227.5. Now, for the injury report for these teams, you see Reeves being questionable, so we'll see. I am going to point out that Reeves missed the last game. They won anyway, but either way, we'll see if he plays. Luka's playing, though. You still have no LeBron. You have no Vincent, no Kleber, etc. For San Antonio, couple of people listed as well. Olynyk, Sochan, Waters all questionable. Still no Fox. Now Dylan Harper's out indefinitely. Going to miss a couple weeks. And Cornette is also out. So both teams kind of banged up. Of course, Reeves is the main injury piece for this game. The Lakers, though, are at home. We saw Wemby have a really bad game against the Suns. But besides that, he's been an MVP guy so far this season. Now you have DeAndre Ayton trying to guard him. What can possibly go wrong? For this game, look, I think the Reeves injury is a big deal. But I think I'm going to go with the Lakers anyway. I think the Lakers at home, of course, have a great home court atmosphere. I do think that Luka is going to have a monster game anyway. The Lakers have been better than I thought without LeBron playing, and I'll see if Reeves ends up playing, of course. I can't bet this until I actually know if Reeves is going to be in the lineup or not, but I'll go for the Lakers at 2.5. I get it. The Spurs look very good this season, but they played some weak competition. The issue is, do you like their backcourt with Castle and Vassell now that you have Noah Harper, and I know Fox hasn't played yet this season. There's not much guard depth there, which I think is a bit concerning. I'll go with the Lakers minus 2.5.
Yeah, I like the Lakers as well. Obviously would want Austin Reeves in the game, but a thing that's been floating around like NBA circles with people who kind of break down the game is what Phoenix did to Wemby, kind of the scheme that they played on him. They put a smaller defender on him. They switched everything, kind of, limiting his catch space. So he struggled there. He's forcing things. That's why he had the 6 turnovers and the 9 points. So he kind of struggled there, and not having shooters on the floor really kind of it puts more pressure on him to kind of make things happen. And now you're without obviously Dylan Harper, and you're without Fox, who are Fox is a decent shooter. Yeah. Harper is okay shooter. So now Castle non-shooter. Vassell's the best shooter they have on the floor, and those other guys are just not knocking down shots. And I think the Lakers can exploit that because they got a similar team. I mean, they got a couple of guys who can knock down shots, and the rest cannot. So they do struggle on the glass, 27th in rebounding. So I would look at Wemby rebounds. I think he'll have
that's how I felt the same. Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah, have a monster game. They're 26th on the offensive glass, so they don't get a ton on the offensive glass either. A lot of the times they don't even crash. They kind of just get back after one shot, unless Ayton or whoever is underneath. But I do think they'll have a good plan. They'll watch that Phoenix game and see what they did to Wemby and see if it works. But I think Wemby's going to have a good game. It's just a big stage. Performs. If you notice, in those big games, like, he performs really, really well. I can think about the time, obviously they played in Paris, whenever they played the Pacers. I think about whenever he played Joker, whenever he played Giannis. Like all of these games, he rises up and plays well. And this is one of the premier games early on in the season. Both of these teams atop the Western Conference. So I think it'll be a really good game. I'll take the Lakers. They're still not shooting a heavy amount of threes, which is odd because that's what JJ came in and said he wanted to do. So they're still not shooting a ton of threes, which is concerning. But I do think San Antonio will come to play as well. I think it'll be a really, really good game. Spurs 2nd in defensive rating, Lakers 18th in defensive rating, but 7th on offense. So that kind of balances that out. And this is without LeBron, Austin Reeves in a couple of games, and also Luka, who's missed half of the games. They played 8. I think he missed 4. So credit to JJ. JJ is doing a hell of a job, man. He's doing a hell of a job, and I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I like the Lakers laying a short number.
Yeah, once again, I agree with you. I think JJ's done a great job so far with this team. I was low on the Lakers going in. I know you're the Lakers fan on the pod. They've been good. Like, I'm not going to ignore that they played well so far this season. So we'll see what happens, but I'm really happy this game's on TV. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be watching this game. This is the ESPN game at 10 o'clock, so I'll be watching it. Anyway, I'm moving on to the next game. Thunder on a back-to-back playing the Trailblazers. Thunder are laying 4.5. The over-under's at 229.5. For the injury report, another Thunder on a back-to-back. Dort's questionable. He was questionable going into the game yesterday, and then he left early. He hurt his shoulder, so I'd be shocked if Dort ended up playing in this game, but we'll see. Besides that, though, of course, J-Dub is still out for Portland. They're pretty healthy. I see Sharp is probable, still no Scoot, no Tybal, no Wesley, but that was expected. So Sharp is probable for this game. Portland, by the way, they're 4-3 this season. Their schedule is hilarious because they only play teams when they have a rest advantage. Feels like every game they play, the other team's on a back-to-back. Like every single time, so we'll see what happens. They no-showed the game against the Lakers with no Reeves and no Luka. You could argue because they had this game on deck, maybe they were looking ahead. But it feels like every time Portland plays, their opponent's on a back-to-back. Every time. So we'll see what happens here. But for this game, I think the line's too short. I get Portland as a good spot schedule-wise, but Portland's still not a great shooting team. We know this. And the fact is the Thunder defensively, even without J-Dub and maybe without Dort, this team's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they're going to lose many games. I feel like an idiot because preseason, I actually mentioned their win total under because I thought with Jada being out, I thought they wouldn't care. I thought they would just coast to the playoffs and then just dominate in the postseason again. Yeah, this team might win like 67 games. Like, this team is going to be favored in every game. Without Jada, they've won every game. Defensively, they're crazy. SGA is still going nuts. Chet looks better. Hardenstein's still a good center, obviously. This team is just so loaded with depth that I don't know how you score against this team. And Portland, I like Avdia. He's had a great season so far. Drew's been good so far in his Portland tenure the second time around. But besides that, though, the shooting's abysmal. So I'll go with OKC laying 4.5. If SGA is playing, Good enough for me. I'll go with the Thunder minus 4.5.
Yeah, I think the Thunder have reached a point where, I mean, to me, they've probably already reached a point. I rarely bet against them. I have been betting against them early on, and it's been paying off because they were in all those close games. But it's terrifying. Every game you play, it's completely terrifying because of what they can do. It seems like they can hit a switch defensively, which leads to their offense. And we talked about it yesterday.
The Clippers were in jail for about an hour straight. They couldn't score for an hour.
Literally, the whole second half. I mean, 21 fourth quarter points. Like, that was, like, incredible. And they're doing this shooting 31% from deep and not having their second best player, who's an all defensive player and an all NBA player. Like, what they did with this roster is incredible. So I think they've reached a territory where I can't bet against them anymore. Like, I can't put myself through it. And this is definitely a good test for the Trailblazers as well. I mean, it's a pace war for sure. Portland wants to run. OKC does not, especially off of a back-to-back. I mean, both struggle shooting from outside. We talked about with OKC. You talked about it with Portland. I think that trends well for an under, which I think is – did the under – I don't think the under hit in the Portland – I mean, no, because OKC scored a bunch of points. So, Portland struggles on the glass and protecting the ball. That's not what you want to be with the Thunder. So they're going to turn easy defense into easy offense. I think that's a recipe for disaster. So if I had to play it, I would play the Thunder. But like I said, I like the under even more. But I can't bet against it. I can't bet against the Thunder.
Yeah, trivia question. Do you know how many games in a row the Thunder have won against the Trailblazers?
Well, being that you said that, it's got to be a lot. I'll say 15.
16. I was mentioned actually by Keon in the chat. I was saving it for the breakdown. I was saving it, but OKC's won 16 straight against Portland. So they are due. No, I'm just going to go with the Thunder anyway for this one. I think they're the better team by a decent margin. I like Portland. I like Splitter so far as a coach, but this team really can't shoot, which we knew going in. And I think OKC, with their physicality, with or without Dort, I can see them really frustrating the ball handlers for Portland throughout this entire game. Anyway, moving on to the last game on the card. The Warriors are dogs in this game, taking on Sacramento. Kings are laying 2.5, and the over-under in this game is set at around 227.5. Injury report. Butler is questionable. Curry is out. So that is why the Kings are favored in this game. Levine's questionable. Sabonis is questionable. And Keegan is still out. So potentially with no Butler and with no Curry, Curry's guaranteed to be out for this game. Do you want to take Sacramento?
Hell no. I'm not taking Sacramento. I don't care who's out. I'm not taking Sacramento. I mean, they can't rebound. You said Sabonis is questionable. So by my math, I mean, Draymond will still be in. And it's not for sure that Jimmy is out. He's questionable, right?
Jimmy's questionable. We'll see. But the fact is, with Curry being out, they might just let all the old guys sit.
Yeah, and
because I'll point out Butler left the game early with a back issue, didn't return. So even before the game was officially out of reach in that Suns game, Butler only played 14 minutes. So it would make sense if he ended up sitting this game too, because he's got a back issue and a long injury history. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, I can't trust Sacramento here. I don't care who's playing. Yeah, it's just a numbers play. I mean, this probably should be pick. If at worst pick, it's not a lot to handicap. I mean, the Kings are just awful, man. They are. Golden State still has some turnover issues that need to clean that up. 27th in turnovers, but Sacramento's 27th in defensive rating, so they're not going to do anything to kind of alter the offensive sets regardless of who's playing. And we've seen Kerr like perform with. He's kind of like the Popovich. Obviously, he comes from the Popovich tree, but like he's kind of like the Popovich. He performs a lot better whenever he's the underdog and all of these guys sit out. Like it's not really a drop off. I mean, obviously it's a drop off with Steph, but they typically play at the same level. So I'm going to take the Warriors. It's not a ton of travel. I mean, it's from San Francisco to Sacramento. It's not a ton of travel. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Golden State ends up missing both Curry and Butler, if you could find a prop bet on Draymond to get ejected, that's the option you want because we know Curry's not playing, so Draymond's going to mentally check out entirely. But I do think for this game, I'm just thinking of how Golden State scores. Kuminga game, you're probably looking at. I mean, maybe Moody has a solid 3-point game. Buddy Hield, revenge game. Buddy Hield.
Guys, bro. They still got
Buddy Hield revenge game. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I do think I'm looking at probably Sacramento, but there's no chance I'm betting Sacramento. Give me Westbrook crap for this game. I think Westbrook is a solid game. But once again, there is the very long, well-known trend that people forget about. When Curry's not playing, Draymond tries to get ejected. So keep an eye out for Draymond potentially getting thrown out of this game. Sabonis, we know he hates the white European guys. So we'll see if he stomps on his chest again. We'll see what happens. But either way, Draymond, I'm not interested in because I do think based on the historical significance of Curry not playing, Draymond might be looking for a way out tonight. Fair statement? I mean, the data backs itself up, doesn't it?
I think Draymond may always be looking for a way out.
I mean, you have a double combo here of Curry not playing and a white European center on the other team. It's like a perfect storm for Draymond to get ejected at some point in this game.
That's a good point.
He punched Nurkic in the face. He stomped on Sabonis' chest. He's had a long history against these guys. I like Sabonis' rebounds in this game, too. I mean, Sabonis is leading the league in rebounds every year. He's doing it again. I see a very good matchup for Sabonis. I think Sabonis' rebounds are probably worth something. He might walk into like 18 in this game. He might have a really solid rebounding game for this one. I know it's going to wrap it up for all the games on the card. Time going into the lock and dog picks. Before we get into the lock and dog, remember they're brought to you by our sponsor, Arctic Fantasy. So we're going to give out an entry in a second. Play their pick'em entries. Chance to win 5,000 times your entry. Brand new offer to customers. Play just $5. Get $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. So they're crushing in college football, the NFL. They also added NBA. They have college basketball. If you want some model picks for that as well. Giving away cash prize every week for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets from any model that you build, and you can win $1K. Use the code SGPN 25 when you download the app for quarter first month. Download the ones and promo code SGPN 25 for a quarter off your first month. Promo code SGPN 25. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through all the games for Wednesday. Time to go into the lock and dog picks. Lante, what's going to be your lock and dog for the show today?
Yeah, so for the lock, I'm going to go back to one of the last games on the card. I'm going to go with the Lakers, minus 2.5. I think it's going to be a good spot for them. All signs point to Austin Reeves playing, so I think that's a big part of it. The lack of shooting and shot makers for the Spurs does kind of like trouble me because that's what the Lakers struggle with. And they don't have a ton of athleticism on the wing for the Spurs, so I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking it's a good spot for the Lakers. They don't have Castle's a really, really good defender, but Luka's Luka outweighs him by like 60 pounds, 50, 60 pounds. He's going to put him in a post. He's going to have him in Hill. I think the Lakers have a big night. Maybe Ayton can, he's been playing well over the last stretch, so hopefully he can keep it going. I think they use Vanderbilt a lot on Wemby to kind of frustrate him, and they're going to employ that tactic that the Suns did. So
I mean, you're going to front them and send help on the backside. That's kind of
Well, see, the thing is, the Suns, they didn't do that. They played them straight up, and whenever they called for the pick and roll, they just switched it. And
I thought I saw a couple situations though where the guy on the baseline would
of course, sometimes. But I mean, for the majority of the game, like they didn't send any help. They just let them play 1-on-1, which is kind of weird. But they did. They didn't switch anything. I mean, they didn't double. They just switched everything. So that's kind of what they might do here, which is why I think they start Vanderbilt out on Wemby. So I think that kind of gives him a little bit of trouble until he kind of adjusts to that. So I'm going to take the Lakers minus 2.5. I think they win, by a couple possessions here or there. For the dog, let's go with a first half play. Plus 250, Utah. I think they come out, play well. We talked about how they have been without some of the advantages they have without Kessler in, moving Laurie to the 5, bring Duran out, maybe get him in a little bit of foul trouble. No Tobias Harris. That's one less shot maker that they have. And they already don't have a ton, so you're sliding in either Ron Holland or Asar, who can't shoot the ball at all. Mm-hmm. Utah packed the paint a little bit. They can dominate on the glass, first in rebounding. I think they'll be fine here, especially early on. Maybe the Detroit Pistons pull away late, but plus 250 Utah Jazz first half.
All right, so for my lock on the show, you know what? I'm going to go for it anyway. Give me the Thunder, minus 4.5. They've won 16 in a row against this team. The fact is, I know Dort might not play. They're on a back-to-back, which I do think is a bit of an overrated narrative in the NBA. We have seen teams play well on back-to-backs. It's all a case study anyway. Portland, I think, is a pretty good team, but the fact is they still can't shoot. You're looking at the size that the Thunder have on the interior. You're looking at Portland's bigs. And Klingon was a mess against the Lakers. He basically got benched midway through that game. They drafted Hansen, who barely plays ever because he's just not an NBA. He's not NBA ready. And Time Lord's always hurt. I think he's healthy right now. You still have Chet, though. You still have Hartenstein. I do think SGA is obviously the best player on the entire court. I just see a good matchup for OKC, even without Dort, hypothetically. So I'll go for the Thunder minus the 4.5 on this one to win their 17th straight against the Trailblazers. For my dog on the show, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to stick with what we've talked about on this show for a couple of episodes at this point. I know it's a road team laying a lot of points, but you know what? I have seen enough from this team. Give me the Rockets minus 11 at plus 155. I can't stand this Grizzlies team. This team stinks. And you're looking at the matchup here with the lack of size. Adams might not play. I get it, but you have Adams in theory. If not, oh, here's Clint Capella. Like, oh yeah, he's also on the team. You forgot he was there. You have him, you have Şengün, you have all the size in the world. You still have Durant, Amen, who might be guarding Ja. The Grizzlies are, I mean, I can't even say a car accident in slow motion because everyone's acknowledged what's happening. This team can't really score. They can't defend. Ja doesn't want to be there. And Houston, you know what? They've been really good so far this season. The offense has been solid. The defense we know has been good. Good enough for me. I'll blindly fade Memphis against what is so far an elite team in the Western Conference. Give me the Rockets minus 11 at plus 155 is my dog for the show. Moving on to the underdog entry. Lante, any players you want to target for this?
Rebounds, I think that's a good one.
Who on rebounds?
Wemby. I think we like
Wemby. Okay, that's fine. Wemby rebounds for this game, by the way, just to throw it out there. Wemby is available at, I believe it is 12.5. Underdog at 12.5. I'm just checking.
I think he'll have 15.
I'm wondering if Underdog though has it set at 13.5 or 12.5. I see most books have 12.5. Yeah, Underdog is 13.5, which I'm still fine with, but you are losing a rebound technically.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll go with Wemby rebounds there. You have anybody else you're interested in?
Yeah, let's see. Let's look at Kevin. I saw people talking about Kevin Durant threes. I kind of like that as well in the chat.
I was interested in Şengün stuff personally for this game, especially if Adams ends up sitting.
Yeah, I don't mind either. Whatever you want to go with, it's fine. I had 2 yesterday.
Şengün's only at 9.5 rebounds, really, against this team. I mean, I like Şengün rebounds at 9.5. Yeah. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you can't talk me up for anything dealing with backing offensive rebound, defensive rebounds for the Rockets.
Yeah, I'm just trying to quickly see if Underdog does have 9.5 listed. I believe it is at 9.5 if he's there. Sorry, just trying to find it. Okay. Anyway, anything else you want to go after for this?
Kuminga. I like his points, rebounds. I think he has a monster day. We talked about Draymond possibly getting ejected. No Curry, possibly no.
It's a running joke, but if he actually does get ejected, I'm going to laugh really hard if Draymond gets ejected from that game.
Yeah, so I think that is a really good play. I mean, he's been playing well with those guys, so he's going to probably double his shot total. So I like Kuminga a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to see quickly if there's any history with him playing without Curry and Butler in the lineup together. And he has scored 33-plus points in 2 of the last 3 times it's happened. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. We can go with his points. I think it's at like 20.5 for Underdog, I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me just check to see what it officially is here. 21.5 for Kuminga. Okay, there you go. So, for the 3 picks for the Underdog entry here, we are going to go with Kuminga higher, 21.5 points. Wemby higher, 13.5 rebounds, and last but not least, Şengün higher, 9.5 rebounds. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Lante, anything else you want to add?
No, man. Shout out to the chat. They were great today, man. They got a lot, some good nuggets in there. We got the first quarter defensive, offensive rating. Man, some good stuff in there. So yeah, thanks to those guys. Appreciate you, Scott. Hopefully we can bring it home with a 4-0.
Yep, sounds good. For the episode tomorrow, Terrell will be on with myself, so we'll be back again on Thursday morning. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.
Basketball.